little bit of a news roundup for you today. Look, most of it is just idle gossip and chit-chat, but hey, there's lots of it. I've got to say, in terms of transfers in and players leaving West Ham, there seems to be an equal amount of it. There is some certainly going to have more truth to it than the other stuff. Let me get with the most sensational one first of all, because you'll have seen it in a title and you'll have seen it certainly on social media and whatnot. Barcelona are interested in Pablo Fornals. I mean, I'm not even sure I dare to write the title in the title of this video. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Don't shoot the messenger. It's not me that's made it up. It's come from the Spanish press. Although it should be said that Fabrizio Romano has said he's not aware of any interest. And, you know, look, he's the in-the-know guy, right? I would imagine if there was some element of truth in it, then he would know about it. However, here's how the story goes. Barcelona are interested in Fornals. Now, the reason it seems unbelievable is for that. Why would they be interested in a player that can't get into West Ham's first team? However, they have suffered massive financial penalties over the last few years. And as I understand it, the allegations are not relenting. Basically, Barcelona are skint. And when you understand that, and there's a player that they want to bring in at the moment, and it's Rocky, not Sylvester Stallone, obviously, a bit old for that sort of thing. They want to bring him in, and they're really struggling to balance the books to do it. Which means if they bring anyone else in, they're going to have to be really cheap or free, ideally. And, well, you know, Pablo Fornals sort of does suit that. And when you start to read a little bit more and scratch beneath the surface and actually think that they're not looking for a superstar, they're looking for some squad padding, maybe, just maybe, fits the bill. Now, Fornals was actually due to go and sign for Sevilla at the end of the season. But if you were Fornals, I guess there is a decision to make. Would you go and want to play for a super club like Barcelona? I think the obvious answer is yes. One of his frustrations is going to be at West Ham that he's not playing. I think if he went to Barcelona, he certainly wouldn't play at all, would he? So, I don't know. Look, be quite an interesting one there. See how that plays out. What Fabrizio Romano did also say, though, was that West Ham had serious interest in Dominic Solanke. Now, that was interesting because why would a sort of esteemed journalist such as him be talking about that? Why would he confirm it? There's one thing we do know about Romano. Romano has close links with Tim Steiten. He was all over the breaking news in terms of Steiten. He really was. I have to assume that there's some line of communication between the two people. So, I just think if Fabrizio Romano, it's not like I'm talking about him like he's the oracle, but if Fabrizio Romano is saying that West Ham have interest in Dominic Solanke, then I'd imagine we do. And I did the video the other day about Timo Werner and Solanke, and as I said in the video that I would prefer Werner. I think Werner would be, you know, really well suited to West Ham. And I think the majority of you were aligned with me. You'd prefer Werner to Solanke. But if it's Solanke or, well, nobody, then you'd take Solanke. I do think he wouldn't be a bad player for West Ham, and I wouldn't be adverse to it. So I'd certainly think we need to do something. Going to be very, very interesting on that one, certainly. And another bit of news is that Vladimir Coufal's very, very sorry. Look, I did the video the other day, and I said he looked absolutely bladdered. He didn't. His teammate was waddling out into the street, staggering into the street when they'd all been out clubbing. He's been told off. He's had his knuckles rapped, Coufal, him and two other Czech Republic players. I think even Thomas Souček waded in and criticised the players. He didn't name Coufal, but there are only three of them who were sort of booted out the Czech squad, and Coufal was one of them. So sort of by association, he was criticising him. Coufal's come out and said he's very, very sorry, and look, I'm sure he is. I think West Ham possibly will feel the benefit of that because he's going to be really keen to prove himself, and you'd sort of hope with any player like that. He's got a lot of credit in the bank for his country. He's been a reliable servant for them. So hopefully, you know, that's it. It's just sort of water under the bridge in as far as that's concerned for him. Before I get on to the Divin Mubama stuff, West Ham have been linked with, and excuse me, I have to change my glasses here. West Ham have been linked with Celta Vigo defender Oscar Mingueza. It's good. It's a great name. And it really is. It's probably Mingueza. It might be Mingueza. But let's be fair, Mingueza is a lot more interesting. Do you remember when Pablo Fornals came over and I said, I started calling him the fornicator, El Fornicador. I think if we signed Oscar Mingueza, he could be the geezer. It could be the geezer. That should be what he called. I think you should go with the Minger. I do. Oscar Mingueza, the Minger. I want to sign this guy just for the name. He's a right back, Celta Vigo. Now, the thing is, he's done really, really well for Celta Vigo this season, but he spent all his career at Barcelona, and he's only, I think they signed for 6 million, something like that. I had a little look, a little sneaky, a little cheeky, did a little YouTube on him. Looks to be a decent player. I do think we need a right back, despite everything that I've just said about Coufal there. I don't want Coufal to go anywhere. We're going to take up the option, but it'd be nice for somebody to put some pressure on Coufal in the way that maybe last season Emerson came in and put pressure on Aaron Cresswell. So hopefully something can happen there. Right back. Well, both fullbacks a little bit of a priority position for me. Not that I have anything to do with it. I have no say in the matter. Apparently, it's up to Tim Steiten. Apparently, so hopefully he's then looking at this guy. Divin Mubama. I don't want to get too much into the contract standoff and whatnot. I feel it's Groundhog Day actually for a number of reasons. I don't know why Ngakia keeps coming up in my mind as much as anyone else. Look, apparently the guy's got new agents, or I really don't know. You do get the impression he's not going to sign, and for that reason, I think the club probably can't do any more about it. I think they've probably offered him as good a deal as they're going to offer. Now, I do think we do come in, actually, as West Ham. I think we come in with some low-ball offers sometimes for these young players. We've seen it before. We've seen it with Declan and Ngakia, with a lot of players. That being said, I really do think, I don't think they're helped by the fact that David Moyes can't quite show them and demonstrate to the club how much they should be offering. I think the club, in many respects, are acting blind. At least if Mubama had had, I don't know, 5 games for the first team, like proper solid games, they'd probably be able to look at him and think, okay, he's this type of player, he's going to be this good. So they could better calculate what to offer him. So I don't think that particularly helps. What I don't think helps Mubama's cause is the fact that Callum Marshall is right up his tail in terms of development at the club and looks to be a really, really good forward. So, I think it's really very important when you're in a tough negotiation. You're going to negotiate from a tough stance. That you're holding all the cards basically, and I think in terms of Callum Marshall, if Mubama really, really pushes it, the club will think, do you know what, just go. We're not comfortable paying you that amount of money because we got this other guy coming through the academy who plays pretty much in your position. I think that's an interesting one. What I have heard is that Derby County are interested in Mubama. They signed a player on loan from Arsenal, forward. He's been injured pretty much all of the time, and so they weren't able to really sort of allow him to improve them as much as they'd have wanted to. But he was only signed on loan until January, so he goes back to Arsenal in January. So I think what ideally West Ham would like to do would be to tie Mubama down to a new contract and send him on loan to Derby. Derby, I think, would like that as well. I mean, they've had a massive overhaul there. 12 new players in the last transfer window, but I mean, the whole club has been in a massive state of upheaval over the last 4 or 5 years, Derby County. So, yeah, it'd be really interesting. But as we understand it, definitely solid interest from Derby County in Mubama. It could be really interesting to see how that one plays out. Look, I'm going to go now. Just to let you know, at some point, possibly later today, possibly tomorrow, myself and Gio are uploading a video on this channel, which is not football related at all. It's from our Naked podcast, which we produce over on Patreon. So just to pre-warn you, there will be a video going up, which is... It's a bit of fun and it's a bit of a laugh. So if it's not your sort of thing, I do pre-warn you at the start of the video. There's no football in this, but we're sort of, hopefully some of you will enjoy it. We certainly had a massive laugh recording, as we always do. We record a weekly podcast over on Patreon, as well as all of our other football content. We do produce a podcast which is non-football related. So it's the last one caused a bit of a stir, but for all the good reasons. Anyway, I'll catch up with you tomorrow.